shop. I've got Joe Birdsall on my left, Reese Hackett on the right. So Joe, I want to start with you. And how's your winter been going?
Well, the winter has been, it's definitely been long. Been a lot of snow removal. Been trying to work on some race cars and get some stuff done, and not doing very good. But March is going to be real busy. So.
Reese, same question to you. How's your winter been? I know moving to the hobby stocks. I know you ran a Sportsman for a little while, and now you're going to move to the hobby stocks. So how's your winter been?
Good, it's been real good. If it wasn't for Joe, I couldn't have done it. This is the farthest we've been. We're ahead of the game by a lot this year, so our winter's been going pretty good.
I was going to say, I did see your car yesterday. It's looking quite nice.
Yep.
In the Southern Tier Custom Shop.
Going to pick it up tomorrow morning, hopefully. Gonna get at the mall show.
So I guess I want to ask you, you've ran the Sportsman for a while now. Do you have a lot of full fender experience, or is this kind of your first foray into the out of the open wheel?
So I ran a 4-cylinder in 2017, and then 2018 went right to a Sportsman. So not much at all on a full fender car.
So Joe, I want to ask you too. Kind of a lot going on here. How many cars are you putting together here?
Anything more than 0 is too many. So the correct answer is we have 4 right now, counting Reese's. So I have mine. I have Mike Palmer and Cannon Palmer, which we're going to interview later. You guys get to talk to them. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. And then we got Reese's. So we have 4 of them. One is to wrap, and 3 are. Well, 2 of them are sitting right there on the left and underneath it, so we're not doing very good. But it's going to be a busy March. I'm just telling you that.
Well, the good thing about 4 people is you got a lot of hands to do a lot of work.
Yeah. It's going to get busy here pretty quick, so we'll have them there. So.
No mall show for you, I take it?
No, unfortunately, we booked the closest RTI schooling. They do that every year that they do it. I try and do that just because it's, in my opinion, it's cheap. It's a couple $100 and you get to learn something. Every time I go there, I learn something new, and I mean, it pretty much just helps me not suck. So.
Well, a couple feature wins last year. I imagine that you're looking to do a little bit better this year, points-wise, pick up more wins, or do you not even care about points, you just want to go win?
Well, last year, we had a lot of vacations. We went to Nashville, did Broadway, and then we go to Eldora every year in September, which conveniently falls on the last points race for Woodhall. But I think we've cleaned the slate for this year. I always said I'm not going to run for points, but, I mean, I did finish 4th last year, won a couple, and we missed 2 or 3 that we didn't even show up to, so. There's been talk about maybe trying to put together a full year and like really try.
I'm going to say, I know that you probably have one of the more animated and fan-friendly victory lanes.
Yeah, I mean, you got to try and do something. I mean, it's always exciting to win a race, and I mean, I used to be that guy that just grabbed the microphone and just kind of stood next to the car, and it's like you got to put a little excitement into it. Someone called Steve Austin, who's like the man. I mean, who better to follow up than that? So I kind of stole that from him. Thanks, Steve.
So Reese, how did you come to join Purdy Creek Motorsports here? Were you just kind of looking for some help, and I know Joe would probably help anybody, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe's known in the community here, so, I mean, I've known Joe for a long time, and I guess with the Sportsman, the cost effect of the Sportsman's crazy, and Joe's been asking me for a couple of years. He said I just need to try one, and this year we're gonna do it.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to talk about too, is the hobby stocks at Woodhall, really cost effective for getting probably the cheapest full-size car that you can actually hop in and.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the mini stocks might have kind of got a little out of hand there for a while, and I think that they're probably about the same money, dollar for dollar. I mean, we're both getting our tires, Walmart, they're 70-some bucks a piece, and I mean, you're not running race fuel. You can still go to the junkyard and get parts for these things. I mean, or you can go to, other places and get them, but there's a lot of choices, you know what I mean? Like, you can still buy a car for $400 or $500 and you can get get a lot of parts off of it. So I still think it's probably the cheapest class down there.
And now, Reese, do you plan on making this a weekly thing? Are you gonna try to race for points, or you just kinda gonna go out and have fun this year and see what happens?
Yeah, I've never put on a full year, before, so we are gonna try and run for points per se this year and.
This is the year.
Be on it and I just wanna have a good fun year.
Yeah, so, Joe, I guess I wanna ask you, so this year,
Yeah.
we're gonna move it to Friday night.
Yeah.
So you will be with the CRSA Sprint Cars.
Yeah, that's cool.
Their big 2-day show, and
Yeah.
on Friday night, that's where we're gonna bring the King Bop Allison Pierce, the King Bop Dirty 30 Allison Pierce Memorial.
Yeah, it's kinda all in one. You know, there's last couple 5 years haven't been really good. I mean, I lost my dad in 21, and then, you know, it's been what, a year in November, we lost my mother-in-law, and, you know, it just hasn't been good, but it's nice that the track puts on that memorial race, and we always try and, you know, raise the purse up pretty good. I know last year, I think it was a couple grand that we threw into it. We sold some tickets, and my wife does a really good job of kind of planning for that stuff. I'm not much of a planner.
Well, if you, you see it all over the place on Facebook, especially as you get closer to that race I know, your wife, and I think Mike does too, shares a lot of stuff on it. And
Yeah.
It's really all over the place, so.
Yeah, Mike was huge, you know, for the first 3-4 years, you know, and everyone, all the businesses that help out, you know, people throw in a couple $100 here and there, and it really helps to, you know, give back to the drivers that support the class all year long, and that's kind of what we aim for.
Yeah, well, pretty cool thing, cause you guys it all goes back to the drivers.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
It's some good money for.
Yeah,
for
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, the track puts up what they put up, and then we just try to add to it and make it more, you know, and I wish I could remember details, but I think it was between 2 and 250 to take the green. I mean, we only had 13 or 14 cars, but it's still pretty good money at the end of the day, you know.
So, Reese, so you're gonna move into the hobby stocks and a lot of competition there. Are you a little worried about maybe getting on the high side, getting somebody's way over here, or just gonna let it go and see what happens?
I think we're just gonna ride the top, take after Joe and try and follow him on the top side there.
Get right in his way, right?
Oh, I tried to.
Make him go to the bottom?
Or pass him on the bottom, either one.
You're gonna have Brandon Conklin at the bottom, so I mean, I don't know where to go really, but
They will shoot
Well,
the middle.
that's a good way to put it. You'll have Brandon Conklin on the bottom,
Yeah.
Reese will be on the top, and
Mhm.
you'll be in the weeds going down the backstretch, flying up on turn 3.
sometimes that track gets a little small and it just need a little bit more room. I mean, I watched Billy Van Pelt do it for years. I mean, you don't lift when you go over there, so hammer down and just jump her back on. Sometimes it does get expensive though. If there's a car right there, when you jump back on in it makes for a bad weekend job. So.
I also wanna ask you, Reese, what do you do for a living outside of the races?
I work at Bradley Supply right here in Hornell, machine and fabrication shop. It's a great company, family-owned business. Any racers, you know, like it's a dream come true. Like any hardware fasteners, we carry all the pipe, aluminums and stuff. So it's a real nice shop.
Yeah, sponsor at the Woodhall Raceway as well, and I will say that as a demolition derby driver, I do use Bradley Supply quite a bit, so that they are great people and they will help you out a lot too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, Joe, but Bradley Supply is one of our sponsors too, and they help us out a lot too. So it's definitely a good place to go to.
We do plan on coming back to the track this year as a track sponsor. Me and Terry are working out the details on the date and stuff, but it's always a good time going down there and sponsoring the track.
So are you gonna race on the night that you guys are sponsoring, or?
Yeah, stay in the points you got to.
Yeah.
It's kinda hard taking the night off.
And hard to be in the booth and race
Yeah,
car. I mean,
yeah, so, I mean, it'll still be fun for the fans, and it's something fun to support and be along with.
So what do you like to do in your free time, other than racing? I mean, I know kinda winter's a little tough sometimes, and not having Saturdays is tough sometimes, but what do you like to do to?
Yeah, I like to spend time with my kids. I got 2 little kids, and, we go on vacation every year, so that's a fun one. We always look forward to that, but other than that, our main focus is really race cars.
So where'd you go to vacation last year?
We go to Myrtle Beach every year.
Myrtle Beach.
Yep.
We went there, 2 years ago.
It's always a fun
That
time.
was the last time I went there, so. Joe,
Yeah.
now what do you do for a living?
Well, other than being a professional race car driver, I put in some time at the town of Greenwood Highway Department. They trust me enough to drive 10-wheelers and graders and loaders and stuff, so we, road maintenance and that stuff. Really happy that I got a good group of guys that I work with, and my boss, Redbone, it's a pretty good place to work, so.
Now what do you like to do in your free time, if you have any? I know you're gonna be busy in the shop. here
Yeah,
this month, so.
yeah, it hasn't really ended this year. Like, we kept going right after the last race, and we just, you gotta strip the cars and wash them and clean them and tear them all apart and all that stuff, so it's been pretty busy, but yeah, my free time, just pretty much working here in the shop. I got a couple trucks that I like to work on, and hanging out with my family and my kids. I got 3 kids, 4 kids, sorry. Cora, Whalen, Braden, and Bentley, and just hanging out in the house with my wife Amanda, so.
Now, I imagine that your dad is pretty influential, at Woodhall he is, everybody I think knows him. And
Yeah.
I imagine that's kind of what gave you the bug.
Well, it's kind of a funny story. So, Dad never raced. Tom Birdsall, my great uncle, he was big into it. Raced for a lot of years, and Dad never really did it. And then finally, I graduated high school, and I went out and bought a $25 car, and we started in the enduros, and we ran that for a couple of years. And then my dad said, "Well, back then it was $25 to get in." And my dad said, "Well, I'm paying $25 to come watch it. I might just well have a car." So then we put a car together for him, and he's got 10 or 12 or 13 feature wins up there that when he ran, and I ran the front wheel drives for like 10 years, and then 17, 18s when they started the hobby stocks, and tried the street stocks a couple times, and I'm not that good a driver. I just can't do it. It's expensive when I
Cost a little more to fix it.
Well, I just wreck them, and they're more money, I can't do it, so.
The number 88, how'd you come up on that one?
Yeah, so I always used to run 63, like, that was my football number, and that's what I wanted, and my dad was actually number 88, and then after he passed in 21, I did a tribute car. It was the orange and white car that a lot of people know. That was when the car was first, when we first brought the first half-ass chassis car out. So I took his number, and I did it exactly like he had it painted up. I had some help, some buddies, Dave Richmond, and we put some paint on it, made it look pretty neat. And then Terry Pierce nailed the stickers with the same font and everything. So it was a pretty close copy. And it turned out nice.
So how about you? What about you? How'd you get started with racing, and what made you like the racetrack, I guess?
So we've always went to Woodhall on Saturdays since I was a little kid. My grandpa, we always liked racing. My grandpa bought us go-karts way back, and I always carried on go-karts. We got a little bit older. I ended up trading a race-ready go-kart program for race-ready front-wheel drive, and that's how we started at Woodhall. That didn't last very long. I think it was my 3rd week in a front-wheel drive Chevy Cavalier, rolled it down the backstretch. Other than that, we just kept plugging along, and here we are now in a hobby stack.
You were always number 12 in the Sportsman. Is that something you're sticking with, or?
No, we got a little bit of change to a number this year, but I've always been 12 forever, so.
Do you want to enlighten everybody, or keep it a surprise?
No, it's gonna be number 95, but
Any reason for that, or?
just 'cause my son, he's
Okay.
3, and I think he's gonna really like it.
Alright. So, Joe, I wanna ask you, what kinda is your best, I know you got quite a few feature wins, what's kinda one that really stands out to you?
Well, I really, this is a tough one, cause I didn't start racing in like 07, and so I probably forgot a lot of good ones, you know what I mean, and that's kinda before a lot of Facebook and even back then, like, cameras were really handiest to watch videos. I don't know, I'll go back, like probably here in the last couple of years, you know, we've had some pretty good battles with Conklin and Cajun and like, anytime, especially running Old Smoky, you know, the last couple of years it's been kind of fun, especially last year, running Old Smoky, any win that I won last year was like the highlight of my, my life, because it was a $500 crate motor that went through 2 quarts of oil a night, and it was just this huge turd. But it ran great. Like, I had put spark plugs and oil in it every time. But yeah, I'd have to say this last year, you know, probably either edging one out or Conklin or Cajun there.
Well,
I think it was that one. You know, we were on the north-south shootout that was put on between Woodhall and Bradford, and you know, just was lucky enough to get out front and stay in front of them. So.
And so I guess going off of that, how, it must make it pretty fun, because I think you guys may have the closest group of competitors at almost any racetrack I've seen. I know that most of you guys help each other out, and it's really a big group, and everybody's always happy for each other.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been a really good class, and this is pretty, you know, between the affordability in the class, and there is a bunch of decent people in the class that really, you know, makes you wanna grow the class and keep coming back every year. And so, yeah, Conklin, you know, Mike and dragging Reese into it, and, you know, for me, it's, everyone's like, well, why do you keep racing? It's like, well, cause you just drag new people into it, and you get them hooked, and you can't just drag them in and say, oh, here you go, I'm done, you know, so I keep dragging people, you know, we've got Mike Spencer and Dale Hoteling, and there's well, a bunch of them. It is a tight class, and it is fun to race in, and, I enjoy it.
And Reese, he kind of talked a little bit about maintenance, kind of a little bit, and working on the cars. Now coming from a crate sportsman, I imagine that these things are quite a bit easier to work on and a lot less expensive, and a lot easier, I would imagine, to find parts, or if not, you can't find it, maybe you can build it.
That's the goal in the year. Yeah, the maintenance on them Sportsmen, you gotta be all over it. They're a lot of fun to drive and race, but the class is real competitive also. But moving to these, yeah, maintenance is gonna be huge. Not as many hours in the shop. I've got a little daughter, she's 2, and I got a son that's 3, so more family time, dragging the kids, you know, into liking racing a little bit more when I don't have to spend as many hours in the shop.
So I asked Joe about what win kind of stood out, and I don't think you've yet to find victory lane, but I gotta ask you, is there just a memory racing that really sticks out to you?
No, we haven't found victory lane yet. We're hoping to. I've had a lot of close 2020, a lot of close seconds, but never got one yet. But we're really hoping to. As far as one standing out, I had one over at Outlaw. We led 24 laps of a 25 lap feature. Dale Welty got us on turn 3, coming to the checkered. Never once rubbed, but couldn't edge that one out.
Well, I know you don't like finishing second, but if you gotta finish second, I guess Dale Welty's not a bad guy to do it too.
Not at all. It was great. We shook hands after. It was so much fun. That's a good class, but hoping to have a better year this year.
So I guess while I got you both here, another thing, the Powder Puff. Last year we tried to put it on, and I think it just we couldn't find time in the schedule. I think we had, 9 rainouts, and we had it the year before. Is that something that you guys think you might be interested in? I know you both are in relationships and married, and...
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could run it, but I identify as a male. But I would love to. There's been talk, you know, my mom's 6'3", and she's probably perfect fit to fit in my car. Really gonna have to give her some schooling on some things, you know, high side, don't lift, and all that stuff. But yeah, I'd love to put someone in it, you know, and that was cool when they put it on a couple years ago. So yeah, we'll put someone in all of them if it's up to me.
Is that something you're interested in too?
Absolutely. That would be one of the main reasons I would switch this class, just to get my wife into it. She said for years how easy it is and how she can do it. So that's
It's a
one
good
reason
job.
I'm looking forward to I just hope she clips a Uke tire.
I don't. That's gonna be back here, Reese.
She gives me a lot of.
Come on, man.
She gives me a lot of crap for catching them every once in a while, and it'll be just great. That'll be a fun race. I think it's fun for the fans. It's fun for everybody to see somebody out of the normal in the car, and maybe somebody that doesn't have a lot of experience in the car to get a feel for what it's really like.
Yeah, tentatively on the schedule for September 13th. So I guess that's all I got for you guys. I'll let you rattle off some sponsors in a minute, but anything else that you kind of want to get off your chest or let people know?
No, I mean, get out and support your local dirt track, and you know, there's been I talked to a lot of people. It's like, man, I'd love to come down and see you, and it's like, come on down, you know, all the way up the top of the pits, at the top left corner, and you know, come on down. And we usually throw, you know, if someone gets excited, we throw someone in a car afterwards, and that's kind of how you get people hooked. You know, you just throw them in, and they go, man, I think I could do this. So.
Yeah, just looking forward to the year. It's gonna be a good year. Hoping to find victory lane, but we'll see how the year goes.
It takes a family, guys. Sponsors, what do you guys? I know you probably got people you want to shout out.
Oh man,
Whoever
you
wants
want to go
to
first,
take it.
Reese?
First and foremost, I'd like to thank my wife. If it wasn't for her, I couldn't race without her. She allows me to do it. And my kids are really supportive. They love going to races, and couldn't do it without my father-in-law Jay, my dad. They're the mechanics behind it. I really don't have a wrench turner in me, just the driver. But I'd like to thank Union Chill, Perks Auto Care, Universal Builders, Bradley Supply, everybody that really helps us out. Garcia's Barber Shop in Hornell, they're Palmarosa, Maple Farms, they're always great to us. So we do have a lot of people on board. Ken's Collision and Cancio here. Without all them people, it would make it really hard for these people that do race weekly not to race.
Yep. What was the question?
Just the people that help you out.
Oh God, yeah, the sponsors. It's kind of hard to do this without being covered in beer, because usually I'm like the heat of the moment, like just all jammed up.
Yeah, and that's when you forget somebody.
Yeah, usually I got the car right next to me and I just take the microphone, walk around it. But yeah, really got to thank, you know, Palmarosa Farms, Mike, Michelle, Cannon, McKinley, Universal Builders came on board this year, Bob and Larry. We got, you know, a lot of the people have stuck with me for a lot of years. I got, you know, Connie Cinnamon Rolls and Conklin Solutions, Lubner's Performance, Southern Tier Customs, Bradley Supply, which is a huge one. My wife and kids, you know, I want to put that in there too. You know, Can Steel Automart and TP's Concrete. My little buddy Brian Butler and the whole crew up to City View and Butler Excavating. You know, there's well, that's probably as long as a wall, but I just got to thank everyone that's on board, and yeah, here's the 2025.
All right, gentlemen, thank you.
Hey, this was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming down to the shop. Perfect. Now that all them other yahoos are gone, I can get back up here and get it all to me. So, it was a great time with Joe Cook and all the boys here at Pretty Creek Motorsports. I really got to bring some more things to the table here that maybe got missed in the heat of the moment. So, we do have a couple more sponsors that we might have forgot. Definitely got to thank Tracy Dunn Fabrication. He does all our bumpers. And we go through a lot of bumpers. Let me tell you what, he's the guy for the bumpers. Birdsall Services, you know, anyone looking for any work done around the house, he does a lot of lawn care stuff. He'll hook you up. And Close Racing Supply, Joel and DJ and the crew over there who get us our parts next day. I mean, that's stuff that we really need, and they get right out to us. Snap-on Tools, Scott Bison, Bossler Electric, Bryce Davis, his electric company. Just really want to thank them guys. I know, like I said, got a little mumbled and crazy there, a little Stone Cold Steve Austin, and kind of forgot it. So, thanks a lot, everyone, and have a good night.